weekend, we were a bit worried about our boy Anakin Skywalker. We got some news this past week, and shortly after the Anakin rework, literally the day after Anakin's rework came out, we got this big post right here on the forums that was basically saying, we might need to retune / nerf Anakin because of how good his rework was out the gate. And if you guys recall, I made a video a while ago that showed Anakin Skywalker and the Hermit Yoda combo under Jedi Knight Revan, and we saw Anakin just doing some massive crazy stuff up against Darth Malak and Darth Revan. So they said hold off. If you wanted to invest in Anakin, you might want to hold off till they made a decision, and they kind of made a decision. They basically shared it with us, some data they've collected over the past week or so since Anakin's rework came out. So we got a couple big things in this post to talk about. We have to talk about Anakin's verdict as to whether they're going to nerf him. Secondly, Anakin's getting a Zeta. All of you guys were worried he wasn't going to get a Zeta, and I said they're probably going to give him a Zeta sometime soon, and of course they are. And we also are going to talk about possibly a public test server coming out, kind of like the test accounts I use once in a while for a video. It seems like they might be making that into a mass public thing soon. So let's read what my man CG Eric said on the forums. Your focus determines your reality. Hey, Holotable Heroes. I wanted to give a quick update on our announcement last Friday that we were looking into Anakin's performance and whether or not he is too powerful. He's the chosen one. He's supposed to be powerful. My goodness. Particularly where we want him to sit in the meta versus some specific teams like Darth Malak / Darth Revan. Our initial investigation has yielded the following results. So here they basically had a small sample that they worked with. They said that only 8,000 players have been using Jedi Knight Anakin under a Jedi Knight Revan lead to fight against Darth Revan versus Darth Malak. So that represents less than 1% of the total battles fought by the entire community during this window. I wasn't expecting a huge sample size for this because the rework just came out for Anakin, and Anakin wasn't really that good to have at Gear 12 unless you wanted to use his ship. Now people are starting to gear him up, so this number may increase over time. But out of these 8,000 battles, Jedi Knight Anakin is holding on defense approximately 20% of the time and is winning on offense around 50% of the time. And this is completely in line with how we would like these two powerful squads to interact with each other. They want Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan to be the thing right now, with Darth Revan having the upper hand. As they said, their intention is to give Darth Malak to have a bit of an edge, but still possible for players to overcome. I've already made some videos showing some counters, but Anakin Skywalker has been a fantastic use under Jedi Knight Revan because of the fact that Anakin does massive damage against all this ferocity that's on the other team with Darth Revan, which creates low defense for the Sith Empire, which in turn creates massive offense when you include all of Anakin's unique stuff that's going on in him. This kind of gives a little bit of insight as to why they were kind of maybe looking into Anakin's balance, because Anakin, seeing how Anakin was already performing good at the beginning, it's kind of obvious that over time they're going to make him a bit more of an important character. We see Padme Amidala's coming out, and here they finally confirmed that Anakin's going to get a Zeta, and obviously a Zeta kind of adds a big layer to a character, so they want to kind of balance things appropriately so the character doesn't get too out of hand, I guess. So many players astutely noted that Anakin's rework conspicuously did not include a Zeta, ... which we have been saving for the release of Padme. My IQ level is just beyond the roof right now, guys. How I just can't keep being right here. So while we are not planning on making any immediate changes due to the interaction with Darth Revan and Darth Malak, we are continuing to consider some changes to ensure his performance under Padme meets our desired performance. And some of these changes we are considering would make him work synergize more specifically inside of the Galactic Republic squad. That was one recommendation I remember putting out there somewhere in a video, where that, hey, maybe instead of any ally falling below 50% health or being defeated, it's just Galactic Republic. So that would constrain things more and not make him work with that Night Sister zombie trick I showed you the other day. Either way, we'll continue to monitor these battles and reveal any changes prior to making them. So a lot of good news here. One, they didn't 100% confirm that they're done looking at Anakin. They're done trying to see if he's overpowered or if he's in balance. Right now, they're saying at the current moment, he's fine. But as it progresses more with Padme being introduced into the game, and obviously probably more Jedi and clones and Galactic Republic being added to the game, and probably down the road, if he's going to be needed for an Anakin's fall journey later on, they're probably going to just keep a lookout, because if Anakin's going to get better, they don't want him to probably just destroy Darth Revan and Darth Malak now, and then he's just going to keep getting more powerful as new characters and Zetas come out. So I kind of see where they're getting at, I suppose. So this is where we start getting into the public beta testing thing that they kind of announced the other day. Last Friday, they talked about how they're considering trying to bring some sort of, what do they call it? A public test server that you see in complicated games like MMOs. So now I can kind of confirm that they're building up to the path. They started a closed beta, as they kind of mentioned right here. They did invite me to it. Haven't had a chance to go in and check it out, but I think they're trying to start small and work bigger. So as they say, as they addressed on Friday, some of the recent releases have had issues, and as a result, we are looking into opportunities to get more eyeballs, feedback, and testing on characters earlier in the process. As you may have heard already by now, we started a closed beta test. I believe they just did it yesterday with some members of the community last night, which is ongoing. We will continue to investigate and expand this testing process as we find more opportunities to get feedback. So I'm not sure what the details are just yet. They're probably starting small, and then they're going to try to build it up, because obviously the more eyeballs testing out these new characters hopefully leads to less nerfs out the gate a day or two after a rework comes out. So how these public testing betas kind of work is that they're gonna once in a while open up this beta. People can join, import an account of any sort out there, and basically test out the new stuff in the game. And after they do a couple days of testing, they close out the beta test server, and you can't access it until they want to open it up once more for more testing. I think it's a fantastic idea. This game, if it wants to keep surviving 5 or gosh forbid 30 years from now, it needs to be able to keep balancing stuff, because as we're seeing, old stuff from in the past is obviously starting to, I guess, get out of whack with what Capital Games' intentions are for the future. And you can't nerf a character a day or two after you release it, or buff a character 1 or 2 days after you release it, because you notice that you didn't do a good enough testing. And the last thing they'd like to mention here is that we're going to be differentiating the different kinds of reworks to character kits in terms of how we message them to the community. So they're gonna basically, as you kind of saw, Kenobi, Ahsoka, and Anakin, we had some minor things happen, such as Kenobi, basically the same character with a few little stat changes probably, and a couple percentage things, and Anakin, Ahsoka got something a bit more drastic. So a rework moving forward will refer to the changes that have a major impact on a character's kit. So Ahsoka is kind of a brand new thing. This could range from a fundamental change or shift in that character's identity and how they fit into the game, to major stat changes to new abilities. So smaller scale changes, kind of like Kenobi, are more of minor stat adjustments, minor adjustments to abilities, additions to synergies, etc., will be referred to as tune-ups moving forward. So on April 11th, they mentioned how Jedi Bastila Shan got a couple little upgrades where she synergizes with Jedi Revanmore, has some anti-things against Darth Revan, and got buff immunity. So they consider this a good example of a tune-up. Nothing drastically changes, but a few nice additions to the kit. So a lot of things right here to digest, but the main thing is I'm happy that they're not going to really mess around too much with Anakin Skywalker for the moment. They probably will contain him to Galactic Republic perhaps in the future, but right now, I think it's, I showed that one video that almost has 100,000 views showing how crazy Anakin is. It's a great strategy, but it's not like unbeatable on defense. If you don't pay attention to Anakin could get quite annoying, but it's not like it's an undefeatable team, kind of like how Darth Revan and Darth Malak are. They have the upper hand in winning, and I think it's important that we do have teams that can beat these Darth Revan and Malak lineups. Because let me tell you, ever since they kind of nerfed Palpatine and all that with those Darth Malak buffs, Arena hasn't been that much fun. And it's basically, you got to do a mirror match, have better mods, or if you have Anakin Skywalker and those other cute lineups I've shown, there are ways to kind of get around Darth Revan offensively. But by no means is Anakin unbeatable on defense right now. Of course, this could all change a bit when Padme Amidala comes out. They already kind of alluded to her having a leader ability, it sounds like, and probably synergy with Anakin Skywalker and a brand new Zeta. So Anakin's going to get more important over time. So my advice is going to be, he's a good character now, and they might make some changes to constrain him a bit more to certain factions, but he has an amazing ship. He's a great character now, and I think in the future he's going to be so important. If you're banking on an Anakin's fall to the dark side journey, probably gear up this character, and now he's getting a Zeta, so I think he's going to be a solid character to invest in going forward. He looks like an important character, kind of like Luke Skywalker. He probably can only get better from here on out. And of course, Geonosis Territory Battles is coming out, so that's another thing to consider. So in case you didn't see the video, I'll leave a card in the top right hand corner. I break down the strategy a bit more, but let me show you how it works again. This was kind of the big lineup that probably got the developers worried and figured, oh man, we gotta probably rework this character or nerf Anakin a little bit. Basically, with Anakin Skywalker, you want to load him up with critical damage, critical chance, and just give him as much critical damage and offense. If you had an offense on this arrow right here, you toss on offense. I don't have an offense arrow right now, but basically the goal was you're gonna pass over Grandmaster's training to Anakin, and then every time these Jedi or whoever's on the team falls below 50% health or gets defeated, Anakin goes bonkers, and all the ferocity on these Sith Empire Darth Revan teams, it just create some massive amounts of damage for Anakin Skywalker. So let's just enjoy this again. I'm happy right now they're not planning on making any changes because Darth Revan and Malik still have the upper hand. And Anakin Skywalker makes this Jedi Knight Revan team more competitive against his team. But still, even with Anakin helping out the Jedi right now, Darth Revan and Darth Malik have the upper hand by a long, long mile. And the whole point of ferocity is that there has to be a drawback. There has to be a team that exploits the ferocity on Darth Revan, because each stack of ferocity is reducing their defense by 15%. So there needs to be some sort of drawback, or else ferocity isn't being the debuff that it should be. So I'm glad that they're allowing this team to work for the time being. Let's see if we can try to get rid of Sith Trooper in a moment. Anakin Skywalker is going to have another turn in a second. All right, big hits right here. So we have about 5 stacks of ferocity on basically everyone's. That's about 60% defense loss or something of that sort right there. So here we go. Big hit right here, Anakin. 87,000 damage up against Darth Revan. That is amazing. It's amazing. But again, although these numbers look really cool, let's target Darth Malik right here. Let's see. Let's actually slow down. Hold my thought for a second. 71,000 damage, and the healing immunity is great. Anakin, let's see if we can get Anakin to go again here. Let's see. I'm gonna call Anakin to assist right here. We'll try to revive Yoda in a bit. 73,000 damage. Holy cow! And then let's pass over some Terminator to Anakin, and hopefully in a moment we can try to get Anakin to do a massive hit. Boom, boom. Oh, that was a actually that was a very weak hit, but this should probably do some work right there. Oh, he's still getting. Where's the critical hits, Anakin? Where are those critical hits that we need right now? All right, here we go. Jolie's gonna dodge. Let's revive everyone. We can pass this over to Anakin. But as you see, you know, it still is a struggle. It's no way it's not an unbeatable team by any stretch of the imagination. It's still HK-47 could very well do some big hits up against this team and wipe out the Jedi. So it's a great counter, but by no means is it invincible. But just Anakin is just so impressive, and I'm glad they're gonna let this still be a thing. So that's it for today's video. Just wanted to share the news that Anakin's getting a Zeta, which is huge news. The public test server might be something that we'll see probably in the next few weeks for more people to join. And Anakin Skywalker, for the time being, is safe, but just wanted to make sure you guys have a heads up that it's okay for right now, but there might be some minor things that Anakin to kind of constrain him within the Galactic Republic faction as he becomes a better character over time. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did enjoy. Comment down below on all of your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And until the next video.
Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, 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 down. Party Richter, Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, down, down.